Right, so that's trousers. I think I'm dressed. Roll titles. I mean, when you're as tough as me now, you don't really need clothes that much. Last night, for the first time, I got to try Tae-Kwondo. Okay, I've only ever had one lesson. I mean, I was sort of expecting it to be like whatever it was that I tried as a child, which was walking up and down a hall, doing completely stupid moves, and that was it. But my friend Catherine, who is in other videos...
My vagina is beautiful.
I'm Jennifer!
Well, she suggested to me last night that she was going to go, and would I like to go along? So I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. So went along. We were a couple of minutes getting late in there, but we walked in, and like straight away, you know, the people already in the class were like doing whatever it was that they were doing. And so we got sort of a little brief introduction as to what everyone was doing and what would be happening in the classes, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was trying to look at what everyone else in the class was doing so that if I had to get up there and do something, I'd have a little bit of an idea as to what they were doing. Regardless of how much I was watching, I still didn't pick it up anyway. Because instead of it being that we were trying to walk up and down the hall doing all the moves, it was actually you were put in that situation and training on what you can do in that situation. And I got taught that even though you know these moves, there is no set sequence as to what you can do. It's purely you know the moves, you do what's right for you. And last night for me was kind of a test of my body strength, or at least the lack thereof. Because in one of the moves, the fella got me in a headlock, and he was saying to me, stand up. And he wasn't, well, I think the first time he was trying to keep me down, and I managed to stand up a little bit, and then I was like, actually, that's it, that is my strength. And it worried me, because this man is only like there, and he was able to keep me in a headlock. And it's like, hang on. I could be meeting him, like, on a dark alleyway, and although he might not look like a massive beefy man, he's still a lot stronger than me. So I think body strength is something I'm going to have to work on. When I've looked into this in the past, because it is like, it's not, well, yeah, it is violent, but it's not like unprovoked violence. It is like self-defense. And it's seen, because it has an element of violence to it, it's seen as something that only straight men can do. And for me last night, to go in there and try something as manly as that, it did sort of scare me a little bit, because I was thinking, right, I'm surrounded by men and they're going to whoop my ass. But then, you know, I got into the class, and like, you're changing partners all the time and doing different moves and all this sort of stuff. But each one of them who'd been there at the classes for a couple of weeks were actually able to, you know, when you're doing certain moves, they would go, right, instead of like bending over at that point while you're doing that, stay upright, keep your head up, and then you can go on and do this, or you can do that. And they were full of really helpful advice. And it didn't matter the fact that when this fella is coming at me with these big round gloves, that inside I am actually dying and following through, and on the outside swearing like a trooper and screaming like a sissy. That didn't matter to them. Like, it just doesn't matter, like, at all. It was more, they were interested in you wanting to learn, and so long as you showed that you wanted to learn, they would teach you. every single muscle in my body was aching, and I did at one point think I was going to pass out, and that wasn't even when I was being strangled. That was because, and this is going to sound really stupid, he got us to run round the room. After we'd learned a certain move, we had to run round the room, and when he shouted stop, whoever you were nearest, you had to practice that move with. So it would be like me attacking them, and then I'd get to see what they were doing, and then they would attack me, and I would get to practice, and that's how we were picking it up. For the first time after we were doing that, he called everyone over, and he was like, right, this is what we're going to do next. And he was explaining it, and I was stood on one side, and I'm just like, I think I'm dying. And then I was like, right, just calm yourself down, breathe through your nose, just deep breath. And then I could slowly feel the colour draining away from my face, and I was like, right, I've either got to go and get a drink of water and chill out, or I'm going on this floor by myself without the help of any of these guys. And like at the end of the class, because you've obviously been doing it for like an hour and a half, like even the men who've been doing it for a long time was like getting a bit of a sweat on. But for me, I mean, I could have filled a swimming pool with the sweat that I had off me last night, and I know it sounds absolutely revolting, and it is, but oh my god, it really drove home the message of how out of shape I am. So I would absolutely love to get myself back into shape and actually build up some strength as well as that. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking that maybe, when the weather starts picking up, which hopefully should be in about half an hour, that I might go out on a jog and just try and work off these moves. I mean, look at this, right? That's wrong. I shouldn't be able to do that. Like 23 and I have moves. That's just wrong. That's really, really wrong. And I don't even appreciate having moves. There are plenty of straight men that would kill for a pair of these. So, of course, because this is going out on the massive internet thing, I do have to advise you, apparently, that if you are going to undertake anything like this, and if you are planning on getting your body into shape from what it is, and that involves like diet, exercise, and then obviously doing something like that to build up your strength, the best thing for you to do in most cases is to go and see your doctor first, because you don't know, and your doctor might have more of a clue, but you could actually be putting yourself into more danger by going and doing something like that. So just check with your doctor first, and if you're fine, go ahead and do it. So yeah, I think I might go on a run now, so I'll see you later. This is how we run.